Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Four Compas Show. I know my compa is not here. Heelberto is not here. But still, jam-packed episode. We will be having Eric D. Williams in a couple of minutes to break down. We are 1 week away from Black Monday, which is obviously known as multiple head coaches being fired. But how many could realistically be fired? I think there's going to be more surprises than what we expect. We'll ask Eric about it because, I mean, there's some guys like Raheem Morris that might have just saved their job. So we'll get into all that in a couple minutes. But first, let us bring in an individual who obviously everybody knows, everybody loves. This individual is saying, you know what? Sit my quarterback. Do not let him play. I don't need him to take more punishment. This individual is one of one. This individual is obviously Gannon.
That's right. Oh, hold on. I think I need to adjust this. That's right. Here I am. Sit my quarterback. Do I sound fine?
Yeah.
Okay. Sit my quarterback. Thank you. I appreciate it. Sit my quarterback. Do not let these Casper the Friend blocking offensive linemen allow him to take any more abuse. So, yeah, I mean, it's a shame they're not fighting for the division and the number 1 seed, but it is what it is on that point. So,
ASAP, Dan.
Yeah, that's right. Any squad in place. I almost forgot about that. That's a nice little throwback recall right there.
All right. Now, let's bring in the guy that makes all this work, the individual who says, there's no Heelberto, don't worry, I'll put this on my back. That individual is Vic, the producer. Nick, how are you doing?
Doing good. It's been a fun challenge trying to produce here on the road here, but hey,
I can tell you're in like trying to. It looks like you're trying to drown out your sorrows of a 2-win Raiders season, but at least the number 1 overall picks right there for you.
Yeah, it's tank season for me, but no, it's good to be on. It's good to be on here, being able to produce this show live from Oklahoma.
By the way, there is an individual who is joining us right now. He sends his regards from all the way in Iceland.
Oh yeah,
here we go.
Here from Iceland, wanted to say, Daddy Dago, you don't know anything about football. Bye.
Hold on. If you thought that was great, watch this one. And this is the last one we have from this individual, but this one's amazing.
Iceland, shout out to you, Compas. But this is a video to tell you I was right. I was right a lot for NFL Week 17. Oh yeah, this is cool back here, by the way. First of all, Chargers, I told you the Texans are going to beat up on that terrible O-line for Justin Herbert. Dan, I told you so. I know football. Now, for the people of listeners and viewers of House of Horns, I told you the Rams are frauds, total frauds. How do you throw 3 interceptions back to Stafford to the Falcons? And then number 3, another fraud. I think that's Victor's team. Josh Allen and the Bills, total frauds. I like going for 2 there at the end, Sean McDermott, but still, you guys are frauds. And yeah, anyways, enough about me. Look at the view.
Dude, that is great.
That is hilarious. How pissed do you think he is that it's so cold out there?
Dan, before we continue going, we got to bring in one of Dan's favorite people. This poor guy had to listen to Dan for 4 hours straight. I'm sure he's kind of like only 2 days rest, but we had to get this guy on because he is one of one. That is Eric D. Williams.
Step up, Brink.
Somebody gonna get their ass kicked.
Eric, how are you doing?
I like the voguing.
Good. I know. I didn't. You're such an 80s dude. Like, I don't even know what that means.
I am. I'm a historian. I love it. I love the past.
And yes, I deserve some hazard pay for spending 4 hours with Daniel. So I expect some shots in my future in TJ.
Oh, we'll go out to your favorite Chinese restaurant. Just let us know when you want to go.
Okay. Well, we'll have to talk about that for the new year.
I'm sure they're running some special deals down there.
I'm sure they are.
Oh my God! Well, Eric, thank you so much for jumping on with us. Obviously, in less than a week, what is known as Black Monday is when a lot of head coaches are fired. Obviously, Eric, there's a lot going on right now where, hey, all the candidates that people probably had 3-4 weeks ago might not be the candidates that are going to be fired. So we want to make sense of all this. We're going to start off with Vic, who's going to ask you about somebody near and dear, not only his heart, but your heart as well, Eric.
Yes.
Hello, Eric. Dan, should we get some tissues ready for Eric?
I was about to say, he doesn't care about all these other head coaches. He's still traumatized of the performance he saw last night with his boy Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford. His story today was why Matthew Stafford is letting down Sean McVay.
Huh? No, my actual story was why Matthew Stafford still deserves to be MVP.
Oh, that's great.
I
like my titles better.
I agree with that, actually. I still agree with that.
Okay.
One wrong should not undo all the right he's done this year.
Yeah, I wish we can get into that with Eric, but I know we got to get to this coaching stuff. But Eric, I was totally wrong about the Raiders this season. That's the one team I was really, really wrong about. And so I guess I have to start off with Pete Carroll. And what are your chances that he keeps the job there? And then if so, who are some candidates that you think might take that job? I've heard Robert Saleh. I've heard what's his name? The offensive coordinator for the Seahawks as well. Clint Kubiak, I've heard as well. Where are you at with Pete Carroll? And I know you've covered him for a long time. So what do you think happens on Monday?
If you need to turn off your screen for a moment to let the tears come out, as the thought of him getting fired again does not sit well with you, feel free. Just take your time, Eric. I know it's hard.
Well, it does not. You're right, Vic. That it didn't go well there is an understatement. But I think considering how they've handled coaches there in the past and the fact that they're probably paying a couple guys already not to be there, I think it makes sense for Pete to ride it out for another year, draft a quarterback or bring a quarterback in, hint Lamar Jackson, and see if you can get it going again. So I think Pete should stay. I don't know if he will stay. I don't have any inside knowledge of what's happening there in terms of their decision-making process with the Raiders. But I do think financially what's happening there is probably going to have something to do with whether they move on from Pete or not. And I think the fact that you look at Pete's resume, over the life of his career, I think he probably deserves at least another year to see if he can figure things out.
I agree with you too, especially because my bad. Go ahead.
Just one question, because my Wi-Fi is coming in and out, and I want to make sure I get this in to Eric. How much will it depend on if they're going to draft a quarterback first, or whether whether or not they trade for a quarterback, like you said, like someone like Lamar Jackson?
In terms of the development and how long the rebuild is going to be, I think Pete would be great with a young quarterback. I think he has the kind of mental capacity and philosophy that, obviously Russell Wilson is the greatest example of that he can get a young guy to play to their potential and give them confidence. And so I don't know if it's somebody like Mendoza, can they turn things around quickly? They have, a bunch of cap space for the new year. So that means they could go out and add a bunch of free agents like New England did this past year and really change that roster over and get that much better. That guys that fit their system. I think that was part of the issue too, is Pete has some coaches that maybe didn't fully align with what he believes they want to do on offense and defense. So I think they need to get some alignment there first. They have cap space. They need to obviously fix the quarterback situation. But I think Pete could be a guy that could still get them to turn things around quickly with the right moves in the offseason.
Yeah, and then I was going to ask, the only thing I was going to say was I'm with you. I think it would be kind of I think it's stupid to hit the panic button, especially when, like you said, you're already paying 2 other coaches. And personally, you and I always disagree about this, and I get there's only 32 of 32. But, like, in my opinion, when you kind of do stuff like this, like, any good candidate is not going to walk through that door knowing it's like a ticking time bomb or whatever, and they get twitchy. You know what I'm saying? Just because it gets bad. But one thing I was going to ask, what do you think about Raheem Morris in Atlanta, especially after winning 3 games in a row? And I know it's tough because he just beat your Rams and everything else, but you think is that enough to save his job or no?
I think that's an interesting question, Daniel, because obviously they interviewed Belichick.
I got the journalism shirt. I should have put it on. My bad.
You think they're wondering whether they made the right decision of not bringing Belichick in based on how things have gone 2 years with Raheem, who I have a lot of respect for as a coach. Obviously, he was with the Rams, their defense coordinator. Got to know him a little bit, but it just hasn't gone well there. And that team was expected to win now with the kind of moves that they made in the offseason.
And be in the playoffs at least, or in the picture.
At least be in the playoffs in that division. The fact that they haven't been able to reach the playoffs in probably the worst division in the league. I wouldn't be surprised if they move on, but I wouldn't be surprised if he stays too, because they have won a couple games. Kirk's still there. I don't know what they're going to do at the quarterback, because I don't know if Penix is going to be ready at the start of the year. I think the theme for me is looking at all these potential vacancies is what's the answer if you move on from your head coach?
Exactly.
And if that answer isn't a good answer, like you said, then you probably should stay with the guy that you have in there, because there might not be a person either available or one that franchise can afford to bring in.
Exactly. And I think part of it also with some of the woes was like, I thought it was really weird and kind of telling when I forgot what the story was, but it was when Belichick went in there, he wanted to overhaul or cut, I forgot what department.
The GM. And
they went crying to the owner, and then it turned into a whole thing. Like, I think that tells you a lot in the sense of, like, again, you like, in my opinion, you can't be a successful NFL franchise and have so much dysfunction. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you said with the Raiders, how they need to be aligned moving forward to have any sort of success happen. So,
well, I think the issue with Belichick and the GM was, you saw what happened with the Patriots when he was making the picks.
Yeah,
it wasn't great. And so I think they didn't want to just hand over full control of both head coach and GM personnel. They wanted him to have a GM to work with and pair with. And obviously, Terry Fontenot, their GM, wasn't a person that wanted to be aligned with Bill Belichick. And that's why they didn't bring him in.
Yeah.
Eric, one guy that, I mean, obviously he signed a contract extension last offseason, but is Todd Bowles. But I mean, it has not looked pretty in the last few weeks. It has not looked pretty with them. They started off the season really hot. Now they've kind of cooled off. Just what's your thought process there? Do you think he survives? I mean, especially because what if they lose the division to care? Because that scenario, by the way, Eric, to me is crazy. The one where they could potentially miss out. Like, they could potentially win the game, but then if New Orleans loses to Atlanta, they could win the win the division. That to me is nuts. But what do you think? Where do you think Todd Bowles is? Where do you think their head at is at with Todd Bowles, especially because halfway through the season, everybody thought they were a Super Bowl contender.
I think it's the same thing that Daniel and I just talked about. If you're going to move over from Todd Bowles, who I think is a good coach, got them into the postseason the last 2 years, and this would be the third straight year, I believe, that they'd reach the postseason. Who's going to come in there and be better than that?
Yeah.
The defense hasn't played well of late, but has been one of the better defenses in the league. Baker Mayfield, again, struggled of late, but is one of the better quarterbacks in the league. They have some pieces on offense. They have one of the better offensive lines in the league, and one of the better running games when guys are healthy. So for me, injuries was a major issue in terms of their struggles. But even now that they're getting guys healthy, they're still, struggling to get the W's here at the end of the season. But I think continuity is important. I think we've seen that
100%. Yeah,
with the best organizations that they don't move on from their guys even when it gets a little sketchy. Yeah. And so that's why bad organizations stay bad, because they're constantly, turning it over and starting rebuilds.
Like, it's funny. The other day I was talking to someone about that, and I was telling them, like, it's just so crazy to me that when the Chargers played the Steelers, they put up a graphic, and it basically said the Steelers have had, long story short, the Steelers have had 3 coaches in 60 years. And obviously the Chargers have had 19 or whatever. And to me, it's so crazy because, again, like, I know people, kind of crap on Mike Tomlin for certain things, but, to not have a losing season in his whole tenure is so impressive. Like, that's just not talked about enough, in my opinion. Now, obviously, you want to have playoff wins and Super Bowls to kind of keep, adding to the resume. But the job they do there of always trying to get, for the most part, right? Because, obviously they have some knuckleheads over there, but for the most part, getting people to buy into the Steeler way, like, impressive over there, because they always play you tough no matter what their record is or what they're doing. And at least also they're not scared to get rid of guys if they don't fit. So I couldn't agree more with you, because that's the biggest thing. Like, there's no, like, this last cycle we had Harbaugh, Vrabel, and obviously Ben Johnson. You had a couple other names floating around that you're like, pretty sexy candidates. But this one, you don't really see a lot of names kind of popping up and circulating, So that also is going to be the interesting thing.
I think for me, McCarthy's the biggest name that's out there.
Yeah.
I think he'll have. He's a big dude.
Guy, what a scumbag.
I think he'll have his pick of what job he wants that do come available. Obviously, there's 2 vacancies right now. It's been 6 to 8. It seems like every year. I think it was 6 last year. Is that correct? 6 vacancies.
Yep, probably thereabouts.
So I would think McCarthy's going to be at the top of the list. We'll see if people are interested in Belichick, for a second straight season. And then for me, you've already mentioned the name. I think Robert Saleh should be at the top of that list because of obviously he's been a head coach before.
Yeah,
he's doing wonders, working magic with that defense in San Francisco, considering the people that are available. And I think he has a presence. And I believe he interviewed for the Raiders head coaching job and the Jacksonville head coaching job. Ultimately didn't end up getting either one of those.
What's the other thing too, also, speaking of that, what about Brian Flores and that whole thing? You think people are going to be interviewing him? You think people are going to maybe take a chance and try and bring him back? Or, because I agree with you. I think Bob Saleh is a good coach. I just think, for whatever reason, those New York teams just have so much bad juju that I don't think anyone can figure it out right now unless you're going to, bring back Mike Tomlin and, rejuvenate him or whatever. Or Tom Coughlin, my bad. Tom Coughlin.
Oh, wow. Tom Coughlin. Okay.
Yeah. Or Bill
80s reference, voguing and Tom Coughlin.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They like I think
he's got Zubas on right now. He's ready to wrestle.
I'm always ready to
go get an otter pop.
Don't worry, I'm gonna what's it called? I was listening to some REO Speedwagon a little bit ago.
Of course you were.
Like that. Yeah. So don't worry. I got the whole thing. But anyway,
he's got the Aquanet spraying his hair.
Oh, dude. And you know what else I'll bring back? Hold on. What did they used to wear? Those like puffer bright ass color. Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah, there you go. But I think he's a great coach. I just think New York was a shit show, like just the organization itself. So I'm wondering to see if any of the Saleh. Yeah. So I'm wondering to see, because I saw something also about Brian Flores. Obviously people talked about how he's kind of getting, blacklisted or whatever because he had his own thing with the league, and then there a lot of people think he's an overqualified, defensive coordinator at this point. So that'll be interesting to see also if someone takes a chance on him.
Well, he said that your quarterback was better than Tua, that he wanted your quarterback.
Well, but like, and me just playing devil's advocate, because I mean, thank God they ignored him. But, I don't remember his tenure in Miami being that successful, if I remember correctly.
19-14.
Yeah, so that's not great, but that's not great then.
It's not awful.
Well, yeah, because you're close to 500, but again, it's not great.
You're over 500.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Over 500. So what do you think about that? Do you think someone's going to maybe take a chance and try and bring him?
No, I don't think anybody's going to take a chance because he's suing the league.
Still? It's still ongoing?
Yeah, the lawsuit, I believe. Well, even if it's not ongoing and it's been settled, still the fact that he sued the league and you're asking one of 32 NFL owners that you just sued to now hire you as a head coach, I would be surprised if one owner is willing to do that.
That's funny.
I think owners hold grudges.
Oh, I don't doubt it. Just like Hall of Fame voters, it's kind of interesting and fascinating. But
I don't know what you're talking about.
Eric, do you believe? And then we'll go to Vic next. Eric, do you think Sunday night is the loser of Baltimore, Pittsburgh is going to end up firing their head coach?
Oh wow, that's a great question.
There you go, journalism.
I think if the team that loses is Baltimore, then yes, I think that's a possibility that either Harbaugh is fired or he chooses to move on and go to somewhere else and coach.
New York.
I wouldn't want that. I would
maybe
not
the Giants.
Or he comes
maybe Tennessee.
Oh, he could be the special teams coordinator in Los Angeles. That'd be nice.
Vic, go ahead.
And that's a really good question because it just, we're going to wait and see what happens there with either Baltimore or Pittsburgh. I'm guessing the winning season for Tomlin again kind of helps him out there. But in terms of those two coaches, Eric, what do you see going forward for them? Like, how long do they want to be there? Do you see someone get? I guess one of the last things I'll ask you in terms of the coaching carousel, will we ever see a coach get traded again? Is the question.
I never say never on that. I think that's always a possibility that we see a coach get traded again. There was talk about Shanahan potentially getting traded because of, struggling there. And obviously other teams being interested in having him as a head coach. I think he's probably one of the top 5, head coaches in the league, based on his success that he's had over the years. So yeah, I definitely think that's a possibility. I don't think Tomlin's going anywhere. I think there's too much respect for him within that building in that organization. The problem with Tomlin is they haven't been bad enough to get a legit quarterback to replace Roethlisberger since Roethlisberger retired. And so they're just kind of in that uncomfortable middle. And I don't know if they're ever going to get that kind of quarterback, like a Drake May or, a Daniels or a Bo Nix, I guess. We'll throw him in there. Somebody
excited for that one.
an elite level young quarterback that can kind of put them over the top and make them legitimate Super Bowl contenders. So we'll see if they're able to maybe trade for somebody like that. I think names like Kyler Murray are going to be out there again.
God.
I know that Kyler Murray isn't everybody's cup of tea. Lamar Jackson, I think, again, I know that's not everybody's cup of tea, but I think he's going to be potentially available. And
why don't
so
you throw
maybe
Tua's name in there too?
Sure. Tua could potentially be available. Let's throw Tua. A lot of people think he's better than Herbert. I'm
no
not
one
of those people, but
no one does. Delusional Miami Dolphin fans on cocaine think Herbert's better. Tua's better than Herbert in Miami.
Does Tua have a playoff win?
Oh my God!
No, he does not.
They have. I think they have the same amount of playoff.
They have the same amount of playoff wins. 0.
No, they haven't had a playoff win since he's been born.
Now
they have the same amount of playoff appearances too. 2
now.
playoff appearances.
Wow.
Yeah. Herbert has 3.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
We'll see if
that
you
want to hate.
Oh wow, Harbaugh to Las Vegas Raiders. That'd be interesting.
Wow, that would be interesting.
Let me ask you last question, Eric, on coaches, and then we'll get to 2 teams, and then we'll thank you for joining us.
Sure.
What on Monday? Who's gonna surprise? Or you know what? Shit, last year they shit canned Mike McCarthy on a Wednesday. By next Wednesday or Thursday, what are we going to be surprised about? What's one thing? Give us look through your crystal ball. I know you're not into witchcraft or anything, but
who's Christian boy? I think.
I'll give you a surprise. I don't think it'll happen, but I think it'll be somebody like this. KOC in Minnesota.
Oh. I can definitely see it though. Yeah.
You just have a difference of opinion between GM and head coach. And there's a battle over who has control, and one person wins out and the other person chooses to move on. I think you might see a situation like that where you have, butting heads between a GM and a head coach. I think you're going to see that in Cleveland, with Stefanski and Andrew Berry. So I think those are the situations that you kind of want to monitor.
Yeah. Eric,
go ahead.
How bad is that? Like, one thing that nobody talks about, and I'm glad you brought it up, is how bad that GM's drafting has been over the last 3 years. It's been one of the worst draft in terms of drafting, and you're starting to look at the whole JJ McCarthy thing. And I'm wondering if that's why you're bringing that up. Was that KOC's pick or was that the GM's pick?
Yeah, that's exactly why I'm bringing it up, because who made the mess, and then who's going to clean it up? I think that's how you have to look at it. And for me, like, having covered Pete Carroll and John Schneider in Seattle, and before that, I covered Tim Ruskell and Mike Holmgren, and those two hated each other. And so because they didn't have alignment, it really messed up how they would draft and how they would develop players, because Ruskell would draft guys and then Holmgren wouldn't play him because he didn't like the player, because he wasn't selecting them, but he had, control over whether guys could get on the field or not. With Pete and John, there was alignment between those two guys. And so when they drafted guys, they had a plan for them. Pete was involved in that selection process. John is one of the great talent evaluators in the league. And so that pairing really worked well for over a decade in Seattle. And I'm not seeing that same kind of alignment in Minnesota. And I think that's why, like you said, they've struggled with the draft picks, because maybe there's not alignment between KOC and the GM.
Well, you saw how toxic it got in San Francisco, Jim's first go around, where the GM was doing whatever he wanted. Jim was doing whatever he wanted. That's why here Jim's like, yeah, I'll take the job, but I want my own GM. Yeah, and that's why he brought Joe Ortiz, and they work in unison. And Jim will be like, oh, Joe's the guy, and then Joe will be like, no, it's Jim. I mean, that's the first time he's ever had that. So I'm sure that has to do a lot with the success of the way the team's being run, not when you have Trent Baalke over here fighting and Jim fighting with Trent Baalke. So I'm sure that's obviously better for them. But go ahead, Eric.
Well, I was going to say, it's like that thing that Bill Parcells used to always say: if you want him to cook the food, he wants to be able to choose the vegetables and choose the ingredients that are going to go in the food. And most coaches are going to want that power, not necessarily, to run the whole thing, but to be able to have that 51% and have that deciding vote on whether you go with a guy or not.
Well, like, what
you're saying in Minnesota, it's like an episode of Chopped from the Food Network, where they have surprise ingredients coming out of the bag.
That's one way to look at it. It seems like that's the case for those guys there.
What's so funny to me, though, Eric, is like you see this time and again, and these GMs, for whatever reason, whisper sweet nothings into these owners when it's like, a GM to me is important, but, like, in my opinion, he's not as important as the head coach, because the head coach has to scheme it, face the opponents. Has to, make sure these guys fit and everything else. When these GMs, it's almost like they're just throwing darts at a board, picking names. Like, it's not the same. You know what I mean? So,
I have one for you, Daniel. Who's more important with the Eagles, Howie Roseman or Nick Sirianni?
Okay, that's not fair. But I'm sure. But I'll tell you this: I'm sure they have alignment and they work together in unison.
You better believe they have alignment.
And, like, the other thing you have to understand too is
Howie Roseman's running the show there, so that's why they're aligned.
Yeah,
man, Dan, you had a great opportunity there. You should have said the offensive line coach, because it's been the same guy there since. Whether it's
exactly. Thank you for helping me out. My tag team partner.
That's why we're Compas here. There you go.
Exactly. But either way, like, Howie Roseman could get whoever he wants, and if he can't do it correctly, like, it's not going to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I'm saying. Like, sure, you're right. Not everyone's a Howie Roseman, because, like, that guy, he's not complacent, which is the reason why they keep having success. Mm-hmm. But again, like, I just think, especially in the situations you've seen, the head coach usually ends up being right for the most part, right? And I always go back to my own traumas. They fire Marty Schottenheimer, and we've basically been shit since. So, now we're starting to pick it back up, hopefully, and they've learned their lesson. But
Eric, before we ask you the final two questions, does Trayvon Diggs get picked up by anybody? And if he does, who is he going to help out in the playoffs, or does he hamper?
I think he does get picked up. I think he gets picked up by an NFC team that is, he's familiar with those, more familiar with those teams.
Philly.
Yeah, that's Philly.
Yeah. I
thought maybe Philly.
I put my money on the Bills. They need so much help with that secondary.
Yeah.
Ooh, he might have to face his brother. Well, no. His brother's going through his own kind of shit.
Oh, yeah, I saw someone comment about that. What happened there?
He got arrested.
Allegedly, he got too handsy physically around this area, with his chef. So
with the chef?
Yeah.
These guys, man, it's just so crazy.
Allegedly. All right.
Allegedly.
Eric, final one from my side. Jim Harbaugh, you and we spoke about it on the way home on Saturday from the game. And I think we were both in unison that Jim needed to sit Justin Herbert on Sunday against Denver, because if you have the 7th seed, you go play New England. A week later, you would be back in Denver, essentially playing them in the playoffs. So why risk Herbert right before the playoffs? Let him rest. Your thoughts on obviously Harbaugh sitting Herbert, and what are your thoughts on who else you think should be sat on Sunday, and maybe a little bit of a quick overview on them as they head into the playoffs as well?
I think you should sit anybody that has any kind of nick or ding or just go ahead and rest them, because you're really trying to gear up and make sure they're healthy as possible going into the postseason. So I think that makes sense. I think the AFC is open. I think, anybody can beat anybody in that conference right now. I wouldn't fear Denver or New England as the number 1 seed, even though you have to go to a cold weather environment and play those teams, just because of the fact of the experience. They're both teams that are in it with that group and foundation of players for the first time together. So this is the time to get them if you can on the road. So yeah, get as healthy as you can. You get a couple weeks to game plan. So I think that helps too. And go in there and, give them your best shot.
Before we go to Vic, a certain individual, you'll ask right now, where's the 4th member of your team? We'll show you where the 4th individual of our team is, Eric. Check this out.
Oh yeah, look at this.
Excellent, shout out to you, Compas. But this is a video to tell you I was right. I was right a lot for NFL Week 17. Oh yeah, this is cool back here, by the way. First of all, Chargers,
let me shit on you guys.
The Texans are going to beat up on that terrible O-line for Justin Herbert. Dan, I told you so. I know football. Now, for the people of listeners and viewers of House of Horns, I tell you the Rams are frauds, total frauds. How do you throw 3 interceptions Matthew Stafford to
Eric's going to shed a tear.
And then number 3, another fraud. I think that's Victor's team. Josh Allen and the Bills, total frauds. I like going for 2 there at the end, Sean McDermott, but still, you guys are frauds. And yeah, anyways, enough about me. Look at the view.
That's legit.
That was the funny part. Like 2 primetime games, and they both end on like the final play, in the sense of like, you have Caleb. I don't understand why quarterbacks do this. 4th and goal, he doesn't even put it in play. He throws it at the ground. And then you have Josh Allen miss a wide target, miss a wide open target. So that was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But Vic, go ahead and ask your final question.
I'm a little offended. It says that they're my Bills. I just picked them for our wins challenge. Doesn't mean they're my team, but that's besides the point. I know Eric has to go. Eric, I wanted to ask you about the Rams here, and in terms of what Sean McVay said after the game yesterday, in terms of playing some of those guys on Sunday. Do you see that? If they know what the result is because of the game between the Seahawks and the 49ers, do you expect him to play all his starters? And then you talked about how you see the AFC. Is it the same thing with the NFC? Can some of those lower seeds beat anybody, in your opinion?
Except for the Packers.
Oh, God.
Well, Vic, I would imagine you were surprised to hear McVay say that because he's always been a guy that
we talked about it.
Sits players, when they can rest him. So the fact that he thinks he needs to play guys to get his guys playing well going into the postseason, I think that's a warning sign, I would think. Because I would imagine, like you said, they're going to know the result and probably kind of know where they're going to be going into it. So especially with Matthew Stafford, 37. I would imagine that Devontae's not going to play because he hasn't played since he injured his hamstring. To me, I just think rest is more important than anything else at this point in the season. So I would not play my guys, no matter how bad they're playing right now, and just hope that they get healthy. And because you're out to go on the road anyway. In terms of the NFC, I see it a little bit differently than the AFC because of the experience piece when you're talking about the Eagles and the Niners. Those are two teams that are veteran laden squads that have been there before, particularly if they're able to get home field advantage. They're going to be tough to beat going to their place. So those are the two teams that I think you should be watching out for. I know Seattle's playing pretty well defense, but for me, Sam Darnold, I don't know if I fully believe that he can get it done in those high level moments. And then right now, the Rams, the way they're playing at the end of the year, they're going to have to kick it into gear too to be able to win games on the road. So for me, it's those teams. It's the three teams in the NFC West, and it's the Eagles.
Who do you think goes further from the NFC West?
Niners.
Bang, bang.
I think they're going to beat Seattle, and I think they're going to have the number one seed. Purdy's playing out of his mind right now.
Who wins the NFC South? I think Carolina's going to win that game, Eric. I think they're going to lose the game.
Game's at Tampa Bay. I like Tampa Bay.
I think they're going to lose that game, but I think New Orleans is going to shit the bed against Atlanta.
Sorry, go ahead, Eric. Sorry.
Your boy Tyler Shook has won 5 games in a row, I think.
I know, and I called that too. I said
you
Tyler's
did.
Going to be a dude.
You did.
I said he's going to be a dude. So that's kind of cool that he's playing well. And I had a chance to talk to him a couple times. I think he's a solid dude. And I think the thing in New Orleans that maybe people aren't talking about enough is the fact that Kellen is a former quarterback. And 3 of their 4 guys down the offense side of the ball are former quarterbacks. So I think he's being coached well.
Okay. And then who wins Sunday night?
Sunday night is
Steelers. Oh, my bad. Steelers, Ravens.
Yeah, I'm going to go Steelers.
In Pittsburgh.
Because I picked the Steelers not only to win the division, but to win a game in the playoffs. So I got to stick with that.
All right. Well, Eric, before we let you go,
one question. One last question.
Go ahead.
What's been the biggest surprise for you this season, Garrick? It could be coach, it could be team, it could be player.
I'm surprised that the Cardinals were so bad. I actually thought that they were going to be okay. So the fact that they've bombed out the way that they have has been a surprise. Surprised that the Raiders have struggled, along with you, Vic. Thought they'd be better. And then I think the last one for me is Jacksonville. I did not expect Jacksonville to be legitimate this year. So the fact that Lawrence is actually playing like a competent quarterback, their defense is good. Liam Cohen, he seems like he has some swag. I don't remember him being like that when he was with the Rams, when he would, we'd get him for media availability. So it's always interesting to see guys like Liam Cohen or Nick Sirianni or Shane Steichen, guys that you see practice or you have conversations with, to see them as head coaches. And you're like, wow, I never saw that coming.
Dude,
good for those guys.
At the 2022 Combine, Shane comes over and talks to Gilbert and I for an hour and Dan for an hour at the Combine. And I'm like, we didn't talk all that much when you were with the trial. We'd have conversations, but not an hour's worth and stuff. So I was like, oh, wow. So, yeah, when he got the head coaching gig, I'm like, okay, cool. That's pretty.
Is his job safe, guys?
Shane?
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't think Shane's going anywhere.
You got to ask the missus, see what she thinks. It's got to go through her first. So
I'm gonna leave that alone.
I know you guys get hyped.
I don't know.
Before you head out, Eric, and again, we appreciate it. Don't forget this little beauty.
Hey, Seattle, we got a deal.
Go home.
Are you serious?
You got to bring your boy Fluker back. I love it.
Oh my God, that was such a good. That was such a good.
Can't leave that Russell Wilson slander alone, can you?
I mean, Eric, every time we have you on, like it just
we got to go through the big three: Seattle, anything up there, the
it's like clockwork.
and Pete. Yeah, exactly.
It's
like the greatest hits. Oh yeah. He gets hyped up.
Hey, that's Daniel's girl there. That's Daniel's girl.
He gets hyped up. Where's her call sheet, Eric?
Yep. She's coming to do work.
There, she's ready to go. She's ready to go. I don't know why they need
kicking butt and taking names.
Exactly, and missing the playoffs again. Trying to get something out of Old Man Rivers. I don't know what. That was an interesting move by her as the GM and coach and everything else. So,
Eric, is what's more likely, the Colts win a Super Bowl under her tenure, or we see Phillip Rivers back again?
Colts winning a Super Bowl under her tenure.
He's so hyped. He can't.
I appreciate wait. That's Eric D. Williams.
Thank you, Eric.
The show. Appreciate you, Eric. Have a good one.
Happy
New Year. See you.
Happy New Year.
Fox needs to put you on TV, Eric.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Hold on. We got.
I'm gonna send him a letter, Eric.
I got to get him going on the.
Very 80s of you to send a letter.
I figure an email they'll lose it. Or I guess I'll lose a letter too.
Later, Eric. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
See you later.
That is Eric D. Williams. You know him.
You love him. Wait, I'm not even on here. Oh, there I am.
Where's your guy? There we go.
All right, Dan. Before we head out, who wins the NFC South?
I'll go with the Bucs at home.
I will go with the Panthers. I think the Bucs will beat them, but I think we're going to see some tomfoolery from the New Orleans Saints.
That would be crazy if they get in on a technicality. Like, that would actually be crazy.
And little Daniel's excited about that.
Because he's an idiot.
Vic, who wins the NFC South?
You called it right there. That I was going to make a point when we were talking to Eric about that. That sucks that it doesn't even matter anymore, that game, because it comes down to a technicality between the Falcons and the Saints. And I kind of love it too in a way, because the Falcons have been so disappointed. And you know what? That game might also come down to our wins challenge, because the Falcons win it's going to be a crazy week 18, because I think we're tied right now. We're both at 49 wins. So it comes down to week 18.
Damn.
I need my teams to hurry up. Let's go. I'll say the 49ers win Sunday night. Dan?
Yeah, I'll take the Niners.
Vic, are you going Seahawks or are you going Niners?
You know what?
Can you imagine? The Niners have been like the 7th seed this whole season.
Yeah.
And then the last week, they're going to get in and end up as a number 1 seed. That'd be crazy.
Can you imagine?
And I bet you if they do that, Fred Warner tries to come back for that game.
Yeah, it is interesting. I'm thinking, I've been going back and forth as to what's going to happen in this game. And the fact that it's on a short week, I know the 49ers got to stay home. But I'm gonna say, just because the Seahawks have been a better road team this season and under Mike McDonald, I'm going to go with the Seahawks. That's the only reason. Outside of that, I mean, the 49ers defense is just terrible. That offense is carrying them right now. And the fact that they're finally going up against a good defense, I think it's going to their defense is going to have to do something. It comes down to the Seahawks offense against the bad 49ers defense. And I'll take the Seahawks.
And then the last game, I apologize, Dan, but because I'm tied with Vic, I will have to go with my Baltimore Ravens beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I will go with.
I went back to back in the pick'ems. I'm good, dude.
That's true. I will go with I think the Baltimore Ravens. If the Steelers really wanted to put it away, they should have put it away last week against Shador and the Cleveland Browns, and they couldn't. I mean, it was a great defensive performance from the Browns, but there's no what's his name is not DK Metcalf is not going to play. He's suspended still, so I'm going to go with but yeah, I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens. Vic?
I'm with you. I just like Eric, I'm on the other side here in terms of I didn't have the Steelers in the playoffs. So it's funny. I thought this division would only get one team, and I went with the Bengals. And so because I don't really care who wins this one, I'm with you. I think it's going to be the Ravens.
By the way, I think I was the only one that had the Lions not making the playoffs.
No, I didn't either.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah.
And I was
as soon as Heelberto chose them, I was like, okay, they're done.
Jaguars. I just need to check when I get back home. One of you guys had the Jaguars making into the playoffs.
Oh, I'm interested to see who that was.
Yeah.
All right, Dan. Last but not least, Steelers or Ravens?
Steelers are at home. I'll go. Vic, did you pick the Ravens?
I went with the Ravens.
Yeah, I'll go Lone Wolf. I'll go Steelers.
Okay. Appreciate everybody so much for jumping on with us. You guys are the best. Dan has to go pick up a certain individual at the airport right now. So
scumbag.
Was it somebody you guys were house sitting for?
Yeah, a scumbag.
Yeah, certain individual who hasn't been able to jump on the show, but he said he's promoting the show on the East Coast.
He's gonna make us continental.
Yeah, exactly. So appreciate everybody so much. You guys are the best. Friday at around 1 p.m. Dan and I will be back for What's Up Bolts. Jim is speaking at 12:45. So by 1, we should find out if he has a list of the guys that they're going to be sitting or not. And then right after that, Vic and I will jump on House of Horns to break down and hear from Sean McVay to see if they're going to be sitting all those guys. Like I told Vic last night, I thought it was just the heat of the moment. He's going to go back. He's going to look and be like, all right, let's go. Like we're going to sit all of our guys. Let's just go do it. So appreciate everybody so much. Next week, Heelberto should be back. If Dan allows him to be back, he should be next week. So definitely appreciate him shooting a couple of videos from out there. He is the best. We miss him, but we hope he's having fun out in Iceland or Greenland. I can't remember which one he went to.
I think they're in Iceland.
Iceland. Okay, I thought so.
That's why it's so green.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I wonder if he went to go buy the Mighty Ducks 2 Iceland jersey.
He showed up.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jorge with my picture on it. Jeez.
That's hilarious.
Appreciate you guys so much. You guys are the best. We'll be back, but thank you guys. Hey, and honestly, this is our last show of 2026, or 2025. We definitely appreciate all the love, all the support, all the growth that we've done in 2025. We couldn't have done it with all you guys. We love everybody who jumps in here. We love Jorge. We love Angel. We love JLM. We love Senor Vive Moi. Everybody who jumps in here and makes this into a great show. You guys are the best. We definitely appreciate you guys every single day, and we'll be back in 2026 with a bunch of great stuff. Obviously, the Super Bowl's on the horizon. We're excited about that.
Crazy that we're back at another one.
Both teams are in the playoffs, so should be interesting. But again, thank you to everybody who's made this possible. Thank you to Vic. Thank you to Dan. Thank you to Heelberto for all your guys' contributions and to the show to grow this network. And thank you to all the viewers. You guys are the best. The best to everybody. Don't forget, no drinking, no driving. Make sure there's Ubers. There's other ways of getting around. But Jesse, appreciate you. You guys are the best. Thank you guys so much for the last time in 2025. Hit the like button, subscribe, let other people know about this show. Thank you guys so much. We're out of here. Dan, why don't you get us out of here?
Be a compa, tell a compa, like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget, you're going to go into the new year not knowing why John Cena became The Rock's bitch.